Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are talking all about the Casagrandes. Classic Toon Jam fashion. What we like to do is, mix things up and go crazy. So let me just tell you a bit about Casagrandes before I tell you why I'm pronouncing that we are some crazy cats. The Casagrandes is an American animated comedy television series that premiered on Nickelodeon on October 14th, 2019, and is a spin-off of The Loud House. So as a hopefully frequent listener, maybe you're a new listener, and then you can just pretend that we have watched it, but we've never watched The Loud House.
No.
We just went straight in on a spin-off. Because sometimes that's the best way to rate something.
Mm.
That's my opinion right now. Just going in, and the truth is, I didn't know this before we watched it. We didn't really know anything. We just were like, let's watch some really new cartoons. Let's watch some new stuff because we've done loads of our stuff. Let's watch some new stuff, and we just looked at what was new, what was going on, this, and then we watched it, and then you kind of realise. Yeah, and then I read up on it and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I'm just going to say, yeah, that's a good way to rate things. Go for the spin-off. The series features the voices of Isabella Alvarez, Carlos Pena Vega, Sumali Montano, Eugenio Derbez, I'm not sure, entirely sure, Sonia Monzano, Ruben Garfias, Carlos Alazraki, Roxana Ortega, Alexa Panavega, Jared Kozak, Alex Cazares, Christina Milizia, D. Bradley Baker, Ken Jeong, Melissa Joan Hart, Lee May Gold, and Lexi Sexton. I am just going to give a blanket apology for anything I pronounced wrong. The show has been renewed for a second season and a third season.
Oh. So
there you go. There are currently 2 seasons that have come out and 41 episodes. So, and obviously, it is a spin-off of The Loud House. So it already has a fan base, I guess. So it's easy to just be like, chuck it out there. We know it's going to do well. It's developed by Michael Rubiner as well. So there you go. There's some information about it. Have you ever seen this before?
No, I haven't. I mean, I didn't really. I don't travel in the same circles anymore, so I hadn't even really seen it about because it's not on the streamer services that I have. So didn't really know it existed until we were looking for new stuff. I was like, oh, okay, this is different. That was the first time I ever encountered it.
And to be honest, this is the first time I feel like I've watched something where I felt like, this podcast might just be 2 people watching cartoons that are probably too old for them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
when you start to question it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, we've watched a spin-off without really. This is so out of the loop.
Yeah.
This is like dad behaviour.
Such an existential crisis in the middle of watching.
We really dropped the biscuit on this one.
Yeah,
if that's the phrase that can be used.
But there's you can't get too old for cartoons in my opinion. So
absolutely.
And if you're listening and you're older than us, if you feel old, feel free to watch cartoons until you expire because there is no age limit on them.
That's it. We've all got that inner child. We can all enjoy these things. And that's part of the reason, we do Toon Jam is just to see, what's underrated, what's overrated, what's going on, and just to watch more cartoons for ourselves.
Yeah, and to watch, how your feelings change about stuff as you do get older. Because, we were once the primate for the cartoon. Maybe not so much now, especially this type of cartoon. But so we've lived it. We've had the experience. We're seasoned in the cartoons. So now it's like, well, what's happening now? Because it's not like they're stopped being made. They don't just stop making them once you get old enough.
we've mentioned it a few times in the past. We've not referred to it in a while. Kind of why we started doing this was just to sort of, we got to a point where everyone was saying how our cartoons when we were younger were so much better than the ones now. So we started watching. I mean, it started off, we just watched cartoons from when we were younger, and we quickly found out that that wasn't always the case.
Nope.
But also, it's definitely now. We've been doing it for a few years now.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see our opinions. Like for me, it's cool to see yours and my own sort of change and what becomes acceptable, and kind of that, you get rid of your almost snobbishness, don't you?
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. But yeah, I mean, we're diving in quite deep before we've even got in. So let's come back to this in a bit. Okay, so none of us had seen this before. I mean, it's pretty clear we didn't even know what it was. So that's cool. It's super fresh for us. So what's Twitter saying?
Yeah, Twitter seems to be the place where a lot of the Casagrandes fans are accumulating. Seems to be a lot of people almost like live tweeting episodes, or just like doing quick updates on like what's happened. So there's a lot of fans on there. But what we've got is a handful of quotes. One from Harry Yana, who says, "Y'all, I freaking love the Casagrandes, okay?"
I like the fact that "y'all" was at the start completely.
It's just changed how that came out.
That is now like that was the accent.
You probably don't speak like that at all, so
for the sake of this episode, we've given you that voice, and what a lovely voice.
That's right. And if anybody else does have "y'all" at the start of their tweets, that is how they're going to be delivered, just by the way.
That's it from now on. Okay, so big fan there.
Yeah, freaking love it. So that's not a bad review in itself. We've got Cartoonist0426 who says, remember, if you want to see Afro-Latinos on TV, there's the Casagrandes, which has these amazing characters, and then posts a few pictures of the characters from the show.
Oh, cool. So almost, an advert for a community.
Yeah, just like, oh, yeah, check these guys out.
Yeah.
Check out these characters. And we've got Kagubatan Tabi, who says, I'm doing something I rarely do, which is watch a cartoon, the Casagrandes, without a child making me watch it. And I immediately regretted it after realizing this episode is about skateboarding. So,
so is that a bad one?
Yeah, I think maybe they've seen some other stuff and they were liking the family dynamic, and then they had a skateboard heavy episode.
And they just weren't a fan.
Yeah. So maybe stick it out for a few more. I don't know. It's the risk you run when you just go in blind, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I can't sort of attest to the amount of skateboarding that's in the entire series either.
No. I don't know how heavy it is. If it turns out to be a really skateboard heavy series that we're just unaware of.
Okay, well,
we've got one last one. We've got TMNT fan 1985 who says, surprisingly, as a Mexican, I find this show cringe.
Oh, so that is a very different opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's lowered the tone. No, okay, so that's quite a mixed bag.
Yeah. Some ups, some downs, but on the whole.
Yeah, usually Twitter has a very uniform opinion. You find. Yeah. This is polarized.
Like I say, I did have to sift through many very hyperactive fans to get just these sort of quotable quotes. So yeah. I'd say on the whole quite positive on Twitter.
Yeah.
But, there is some other opinions as well. So
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's always good to have hyperactive fans.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the older you get, the more hyperactive younger people seem as well. So that could say something about the audience. Old man.
No.
Okay. So we've heard we've heard the mixed opinions, though we do know that Twitter overall does have a fond opinion of it. So let's talk about our own. What were your first thoughts on the Casagrandes?
Well, the opening was all right. I thought the opening theme was pretty fun, pretty lively. The look of it seems quite appealing. I mean, it's that kind of, it's got a new kind of look that seems very familiar with like a lot of the new animation at the minute, but it's nothing off-putting. Just, I mean, a lot of the characters are designed quite well and stuff.
Yeah.
And you get to see all of that in the opening. It's like, oh yeah, look, there's a whole big family. They're all quite cool and fun, or different shapes and sizes, quite fun. And then like we go in and you get to see I think it opened up in sort of like the living room, and you sort of see them being a family and stuff, which is quite cool. And yeah, it like as I was settling in, I was like, okay, yeah, this could be all right. Like it sort of seemed like what I was expecting of it, really, for it to be family orientated, which was quite pleasant, quite homely, quite cozy. Yeah.
Well, I noticed that sort of we have watched a few new ones. We're trying to watch some really fresh ones. But a lot of them, obviously we've seen loads of reboots, and a lot of fresh ones tend to be reboots, which or like either reboots or the original stuff tends to be about like people in their mid-20s. This is the first one where I felt like it's about sort of more from a kid's point of view.
Yeah.
And it really actually, this one felt more modern in the way that it was like you can watch this and think this is a different lifestyle to what I lived when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting. Whereas the others are kind of like about people, maybe a little bit younger than us, or around our age, which is weird, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows on kids channel. I mean, either that or they're just like a reboot, and it's just about like Thundercats, but made more babyish.
Yeah, or they're just like sort of like ageless animals and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how old this thing is supposed to be.
Yeah. What I found interesting as well is like you compare this like stuff when it looks more like a Cartoon Network cartoon to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But I think that's more the art style, and I think it's not necessarily a Cartoon Network cartoon from like now, like comparing it now.
Yeah.
More like it reminds me of stuff like Flapjack and Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab, those kind of cartoons. But what's interesting is there's no real gimmick to it.
Yeah.
It's just about a family.
That's
so
it.
And it's quite interesting in that fact, because like the ones I've just mentioned are all, I mean, Flapjack's very bizarre.
Yeah.
They live in a whale and everything, and but then you look, Dexter's Lab, he is the lab.
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls, they are superheroes.
Yeah.
There was stuff like, I suppose, Doug.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, but it's got more that kind of, it feels more like about just kids.
Yeah, it's got a sort of laid back atmosphere immediately, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just what's happening in the day, which is, something that I did enjoy about those cartoons. Like, it sort of feels like you get a bit more of a taste of like the culture of that time. Because I feel like growing up as a kid, like, I sort of enjoyed a lot of American stuff just because, I saw a lot of cartoon characters hanging around like, suburban cul-de-sacs and stuff, like Ed and Eddie or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like I feel like I've experienced a lot of days just hanging around those environments, instead of it like having to excel to like the moon and back or whatever. Yeah,
and I think those kind of cartoons as well, like when they are just about modern life, and I mean even like when you look at Rocco's Modern Life,
yeah,
it's about now, and they're the ones that almost they don't necessarily age better, because that, you know, is exactly what they don't do, but they gain more of a nostalgia factor, don't they? And then they do kind of age better in the respect that you remember them more fondly, because these are like the stories of your time.
That's it.
So these are the kind of cartoons that these are the kind of cartoons that people probably our age would complain about. But then the kids that are watching them now, and the young people that are watching them now, will grow up with like absolutely really fond memories of it.
Yeah.
And it's like a stamp on time, isn't it? It's like, oh yes, like what I mean. We watched something. We was kind of saying, was it Clone High?
Yeah.
And how naughties that was.
Oh man, yeah.
And it was kind of, because we don't watch a lot of cartoons with that kind of just normal naughties feel. It brought back loads of like, oh man, like I feel like I've not been in touch with that in a long time.
Yeah.
This will have that effect, I think.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Yeah, if you're a kid during this time, this is going to be one of them shows that you won't forget. It's going to be your Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Well, and I didn't. A skateboard's like popular again.
I know. Well, apparently, I don't know. I mean, they did. They've sort of done a HD remake of the Tony Hawk's games. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's what started it all, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's like the closest I've ever been to skateboarding.
Yeah.
Was Tony Hawk's.
Tony Hawk's game, and everything blew up.
Yeah, actually, I did have a skateboard once, but I rode it down a slide at a park, and then it went underneath the climbing frame and broke the front truck. So.
Whoops.
Yeah, I also fell off it and scarred one half of my body. So
yeah,
I feel like I blacked all that out. That was my actual skating experience. But,
yeah,
you know. I
had a skateboard. I remember it was difficult enough just to learn to sort of ride it. Down, like, basically I lived at the bottom of a hill. Yeah. So we used to skateboard down the hill, standing up.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely terrifying until, you know, you got good. But there was like a curb in the middle of the road.
Oh no.
So you had to kind of hope that you stopped before you hit it, because, you know, I couldn't do an ollie or anything.
Yeah.
I was not very, that was about as far as I got. I never achieved the ollie.
No.
Which is like the gateway into real skateboarding, isn't it?
That's it.
So yeah, that was, but it, you know, I felt alive.
That's it.
Alive in the States. But yeah, so I didn't know that was a thing again. It seems like it's quite popular in this.
Yeah.
And then I suppose they don't go away, do they? Skateboards are always in and out.
That's true. Yeah.
But they were big in the noughties.
Oh yeah. Right.
Which, yeah, that's, you know, some real cool stuff.
Because we've got the two parts of this sort of first episode, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got the episode 1, which is the skateboard heavy one.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to learn more skateboard tricks, and also taking part in an art installation.
Yeah.
And then the second one, which was about dog walking.
Yeah. Obviously, I can relate to that quite well. I do a lot of dog walking.
Yeah.
For those at home that may not know that, I have a dog and do a lot of dog walking. So this was quite fun.
Was there loads of dog walking jokes that you were like?
Yeah, to be honest, everything the dogs did.
Yeah. You
could tell they were like, that was like, they were all from people, like, they're things that dogs do.
Right.
Which is, you know, it seems like, yeah, obviously they fart. But at the same time, the way it was all done was like, oh yeah, you can tell some of these people must have dogs in some way, because all the stuff, you know, like there's one that just keeps coughing stuff up.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And yeah, it was quite funny. I preferred the dog walking one to the skateboarding one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also reminded me of, you know, being young and those sort of money making schemes.
Yeah. This one felt very Ed, Ed and Eddie in the fact that like it's like the whole it was like just trying to get cash for something, like, and then like hatching a plan, and having it not work out in the way that you expected at all.
Well, me and my neighbour used to do this. We used to do it with cleaning cars, and it was like if we cleaned cars for £1,
right?
And then it was like the idea was that we'd, I don't know, spend it on a couple of videos from the shop up the road, VHSs, renting. And it was like, if we do this many, and it just was like, you just go from door to door, like, can we clean your car? And then sometimes they'd give you £1. Like, you wouldn't actually ask for the amount of money. They'd just give you some money.
Oh, nice.
But in your head, you were just like, I hope it's £1. Poor business.
You got to. Step one is name your price.
Now you just get a Patreon.
Yeah, that's it.
And do it that way.
Do a Kickstarter for car washing, and then.
If you want to fund our Patreon, by the way, it's patreon.com/ToonJamPod. Head over there.
That's Car Wash Boys.
Yeah. extra clean car by the end of the episode, no doubt. But we digress. Yeah, it did remind me of that though, being a kid, and it just feels like it's very genuine, isn't it? Which is cool because it's something that is not really like on paper. If I'd have read like what it was about, I'd have been like, "Is that it?"
Yeah.
But it is like almost better for it.
Yeah, I think it really does. I mean, like the main character that we're following around, I forget her name, but she's the hype skateboarder in the first episode, and then also the initial dog walker in the second one. Like you do get to see everything from her perspective, and like she seems pretty like smart and on the ball as well. Like for she's just not one of those like reckless characters. Like she's got a in the 20 odd minutes we watched of her, you can see she's pretty smart. She's got a bit of heart. Like pretty likable character. Yeah. Even though like hasn't got anything sort of particularly distinguishable about her, I'd say. Like she's just normal. But
I think that kind of from what I got from these two episodes is that she just really likes skateboarding.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because her motivation for walking the dog was that her board broke. So she is like, I guess she's the stable character. Yeah.
I imagine that'd come out more as it went on, or perhaps it's more established from Loud House.
Yeah, maybe.
We've really done ourselves probably a bit of a disservice.
We'll do it all in reverse.
We will hit Loud House.
Yeah. And then be like, this all makes so much sense. We have to go back and edit this episode.
You're hearing the uncut version.
Oh yeah.
So
Toon Jam Raw.
You did. All right, well, we've talked the talk, we've walked the walk, we've skated the skate. So shall we review the show?
Review the review. So, dude, you want to be cool? You want to be rad in 2021? I'm going to tell you how to do it. You're going to need to learn how to ollie.
Oh, bro, that is sweet. Take a chill pill, man, because I have always wanted to learn the ollie.
The ollie is the sickest of tricks, dude, and here's how to do it. Step 1, get yourself a gnarly board.
Oh, that board is the bomb.
Oh, you know it is, bro. And make sure it's got some kind of cool decal on the bottom, because you don't want to be going out there with a plain board, bro. That is for losers.
That's right, for noobs, man. XD.
Total noobs, dude. So get your board, and then step 2, you're gonna have to step on the board.
Oh, I'm buzzing, bro.
Don't fall off, dude. You're gonna have gnarly cuts all over yourself if you fall off. Learn how to balance, and the best way to do that is just stand on it all night, even while you're sleeping.
No biggie.
Take the board, stand at it, and then step 3 is you kind of, you like do a jump thing, and then when it's moving, and then it flips, and then. You're the sickest now, bro.
That's right. Take that, biatch. So here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, watching the original first. Thumbs down, Naughty's lingo. And shaky middle, is skateboarding really in right now? We're not entirely sure. But there you go. So it's thumbs down is bad, thumbs up is good. Shaky middle is, in the middle. Not really sure. Mediocre, maybe. Okay, so Casagrandes, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, straight away, I think it's always good to have some representation. So, I mean, the fact that it's centered on a Latin family is something that you don't really see a lot. So that's in its ball. That's in its what am I trying to say? It's in its favor straight away. And then I like the theme tune. It was pretty fun. I like the look of it. It's nice and modern, but without looking like a majority of cartoons out there. The characters were pretty cool. Like we did get to see a bit of like the rest of the family. There was like the little sort of scheming kid that was quite fun. He was like had his weird little back alley office. He was quite fun. And like even the ex-skater uncle, I think he was. He was then sort of kind of like a modern nerd. That was quite cool. You get to see little bits and pieces of him, and they were all pretty fun. I think just that. I think my only complaint would be that there wasn't anything that sort of that really made me sort of think, oh yeah, that's really like that's going to stick in my head for the rest of the week. It was like the episodes were good. It was kind of what you expect from a a family orientated show, or a pretty chilled out neighborhood kind of show. But there wasn't any time that I laughed in particular, or something I thought, oh, that was a weird idea, or just nothing that sort of made it super like distinguishable. But as it goes on, maybe the series does find its own a bit more. Yeah, I think for me, it didn't really do much wrong, but like I say, nothing major to take away. I think for me, it's going to be I think it's a shaky middle for me. Like, as good as it was. Yeah, as good as it was, I don't think there was. I don't know. There wasn't something I could really buy into there. I think for a lot of people, it's going to be a thumbs up, and I can see that. If it's because I think it is for a younger audience. I think it's just not for me necessarily. But it's a high shaky. I think.
High shaky, yeah. No, I understand that, because I was kind of I was thinking the same, in the way that like it's weird that there's nothing wrong with it, but there's just something missing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. There's like it's almost there's a. I don't want to say it's lacking a gimmick in a way, and it's kind of a good thing, but it's also what I think it feels like it's missing an edge.
Yeah, definitely.
That being said, it was fine when I was watching it. I think the trouble is it's like I say, it's kind of you're not part of its target audience, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I do think there's something to it being a spin-off. So there's already sort of an established, the characters are already established in their own way.
Yeah.
So we're missing that introduction to him in a way. that people that have watched the previous stuff will not have that problem at all. But I do still think that it was good, and I think that it's great in the way that it's for the young people of today.
Yeah.
And I think it will age really well in that respect, and it will become sort of a nice nostalgic memory for a lot of people. And I think that, to be honest, it's one of the things where whether or not I would watch it again, I still think it's really good, and I still think that it's good that it's out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to go a thumbs up, because I've got, nothing bad to say about it, really. So there you go, an up in the middle.
It's not bad at all.
And we're creeping back up from that double middle.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Well, yeah, it is a weird one, just because it's like, and I enjoyed it, but it's like I could recommend it to somebody who was younger than me and be like, you'd probably like this, but I probably wouldn't sit down and watch it.
Do you know what? It's one of them, I think, and I never make my decision until we sort of make the review. But I was like, this will probably be a shaky middle for me.
Yeah.
And then as we talked about it, I liked it more, if you get me.
Yeah.
And it's like the things that are good about it, you're like, actually, this is good. This is, it's worth it being made.
Yeah, definitely.
Which a lot of the time is, enough.
Yeah, because sometimes you get a lot of stuff that it isn't worth it being made.
Yeah, I mean, we've experienced that quite often.
Quite a lot, yeah. It's unfortunate how much stuff, shouldn't have been made. Maybe.
Well, I must say we've been on a really good streak. We've not had a double down since the Adventures of T-Rex.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I know I say it every week, but yeah, we're due a real stonker at some point.
Something's about to go wrong.
So maybe you've got one that you think will ruin our day. Feel free to suggest it. You can get in touch with us on the three stonkers of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ToonJamPod. Otherwise, let us know what you thought. Maybe you've got a reason that it's absolutely amazing. Maybe you're like, you know what, I don't agree, it was absolute rubbish.
Yeah. And
you just want to let us know. That's cool. Let us know. Otherwise, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And tune in again next time for some more Toon jamming goodness. So until then, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.